Utah at USC. This is an 8 o'clock Eastern time kick on Fox. Total desperation spot for USC. Total desperation. Now, on one hand, got two hands here. On one hand, they're still undefeated in conference play. On the other hand, they have several tough conference games coming up, and they just got housed by Notre Dame. So you would think this is a bounce-back spot. History would indicate that. -5 turnovers last week. They had another 2 turnovers on downs. They're back home in wounded animal mode. You know how much we love that spot. It's a revenge moment because they lost to Utah in the Pac-12 championship game last year. We'll know early what kind of game this is going to be. We'll know early because the first quarter is all important in this game. USC can play catch-up. I don't know that Utah can. And so if USC jumps out to an early lead like they did in the Pac-12 title game, but Caleb Williams stays healthy, I don't think Utah's coming back. They don't have Cam Rising. I know because he's in this other room right now. It is Producer Jesse. They're one and the same. And Producer Jesse does not look like he's ready to start for Utah Saturday. So if you get out to an early lead, I think USC is going to have a good night. And it's not the end of the world if they don't get out to an early lead, but the problem is USC's 88th in run defense. If they don't start scoring early and force Utah to throw the ball to stay in the game, all of a sudden you look down and you say, what is that I feel on my ankles? What is that on my shins? What is that on my knees? It's quicksand, and you've stepped into it again against Utah. So don't let it happen to yourself. Don't let yourself do that. Get out to an early lead. This is my advice. If Lincoln Riley has not thought of this already, scoring early. Try it. Try it. It works. Try it. Utah is 9th in turnover margin, USC 75th. Notice how that little stat changed in a hurry. USC was running away with turnover margin last year. Like they were plus double digits by this time, I think. Not this year. And as I said in the preseason, this team could stay the exact same. If you just flip turnover margin, everything changes. It could be the difference in 3 or 4 games. Well, you see what it looks like. All of a sudden, you're -5 in turnovers against Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't even have to have 300 yards offense against you to hang nearly half 100. I believe Caleb Williams will bounce back in this game. I truly believe that, but I also believe it takes more than Caleb Williams. USC's offensive line has been bad. They have gotten him assaulted. They have given up 10 sacks the last 2 games. Utah is top 10 in sacks this year. They cannot all just rely on Caleb Williams. It can't be like Bama a couple of years ago. Remember when they had Bryce Young? And it seemed like that whole team just looked to Bryce Young to make a play. It feels like what USC does right now. Just look to Caleb Williams to bail me out. No, man, you got a scholarship to play at Southern Cal because you're pretty good too. Why don't you shoulder a little bit of the weight? I'm talking to the offensive line. Well, give him a couple of seconds. Just watch what happens. Run the ball, plus turnovers, plus defense. If you allow Utah to do that against you, quicksand. It's not going to be a pretty outcome for you. Utah needs to find big plays, though. They're 129th in explosive plays. USC is 125th in explosive plays allowed. So, if it's going to happen, maybe it happens here for Utah. Let's look at what the model thinks, Colin. USC's -6.5 on the Vegas board right now, and the model is dead on the money with Vegas. USC -6.5. I've got no confidence whatsoever here. I could see either style of game. I could literally see 38-17 USC, or I could see 21-20 Utah. Have no feel for the game. I am going to ride with USC to win. On principle, I'm going to take Utah to cover, just because if I'm that close in my mind, I expect a one-possession game. But really, there's so much variation in outcomes. If we played this 20 times, it would be stunning to see how wide the gap is in the most extreme score, one side versus the other side. I'm going to take USC. They have the 3rd best odds to win the Pac-12 right now. Utah's got the 5th best odds. Let's just see what happens.